What is up, flomies and homies? Welcome back to another episode of Kalien's Flow Star Repair Workshop. Let's get into it. Today, I have my good friend Hannah's Flow Star. This is by First Earth, and unfortunately, she has a few popped seams. So we're gonna see if we can repair this with a sewing machine. I talked to the brand, and I got some suggestions from them. So let's see if we can repair this Flow Star for her. Let's get into it. Alrighty, so the first thing we need to do is identify what seam needs to be replaced. This star does have two that we need to remove, so we're going to go all the way across the star for each seam that needs to be repaired. I have a few different angles of me doing this process here, so hopefully that will give you a good visual representation of what we're going for. We want to be mindful to only cut the old seam. We don't want to damage any of the fabric that's on the star. Be very careful at this part of the process to not cut your Flow Star fabric itself. The only thing we should be removing is the little itty bitty tiny pieces of thread that, again, these are damaged. That's why we are removing them in the first place. All right, and we are going to continue this process all the way to the very end of the star. You're going to see here, I'm going to continue all the way to the very edge, and once you get to the edge of the star, you're just going to cut that little bit of string that's hanging there. You don't need to go any further than this point. Now, continuing along the seam, you want to be very careful at the center of the star, because this is the intersection of all of the other seams that are in the Flow Star. So you really want to be careful not to damage anything that we want to stay intact. So be very careful here. Follow the line that you were currently following, and do not cut any other threads or you will damage them. All right, now we have this one line all the way across the star. Now we have a second spot. We're going to go ahead and repeat the process for the second spot. I sped it up for you guys so you don't have to watch the whole process in real time. Now we're just going to take a look at the star, pull out any bits of leftover string because we don't want those getting tangled with the new thread whenever we go to sew into the star. So remove all those last little bits that are hanging. There we go. And now what we're going to do is actually look at another Flow Star with horizontal or zigzag stitches, and we're going to try to recreate that using our sewing machine. Next thing you're going to need is scrap fabric and thread that matches the pre-existing stitches. You're going to go ahead and thread your bobbin with that thread color that you need. This is me on my machine. Follow your sewing machine. We're going to get the bobbin in there. This is me showing how to get the bobbin in the bobbin casing and how to go ahead and put that into the machine. For my specific machine, it doesn't matter which side the tail of the thread goes on when I put the bobbin into the machine, but make sure you follow your manufacturer's directions for threading both the bobbin and the top thread. This next part of the video is the most important part. Please heed my warning. Use some scrap material. Here I have the sleeve of some old t-shirts from my last project. You're going to go through and you're going to test your stitch until it looks like whatever your reference is. For me, I used another Flow Star. You want your stitches to be nice and tight. It took 3 tries. Here you'll see this is where I was really happy with how it looked. Here are the settings that I used on my sewing machine. I have a Singer, I think it's a 2277 model. Here's the part we've all been waiting for, actually sewing the Flow Star. You're going to do a continuous stitch all the way across the star, put it in reverse, and then you're going to cut the stitch and remove the star from the machine. Same thing, one continuous stitch all the way across the star. Make sure you put it in reverse for the last couple stitches, and then you're going to remove it from the machine. Here I'm doing an inspection. I want to make sure that the stitches go all the way across the star. If they didn't go all the way across the star, go back in and do that. And again, this is why we use scrap fabric, so all this damage didn't happen on the Flow Star. And there she is. Is she perfect? No. Is she functional? Yes. Are the torn seams gone? Yes, they are. Do me a favor, if you can, tag a Flowme in this video that you know has a janky star, or if you have a friend who's a seamstress that you want to fix your star for you, tag them in this video too. Love you. Have an awesome day.